I can't seem to be that person. Why is it? Because we must be born again. So we've got to undergo this transformation when our minds are wiped clear. You understand how far removed we are from reality? The reality that God gave us initially. He wanted us to live without death. No death. No death. That's what we would have had if not for the original sin. And you wonder why he was upset when things went askew, when we disobeyed him. We weren't supposed to know we were naked. Think about that. Think about that. That's a big deal. You know, nakedness is a big deal, isn't it, in our society? We take it very seriously, right? Oh, indecent exposure and all this. I mean, you know, you hear these guys getting in trouble for this. I'm thinking, well, you know, what's really wrong with nakedness? You know, that's the logical side of me. And then I kind of say, okay, well, there's children. I think, well, you know, all these thoughts, you know, you don't know. Nobody knows the right way exactly to think about nakedness. I really just believe that to this day. You know, I ordered some of this stupid cartoon out there, this Seth MacFarlane cartoon, Family Guy. I mean, you wonder why kids are growing up so fast. You hear some of the crap on that. I ordered the DVDs like the early seasons. I want to see if there's some I missed, you know, watch them. But I was shocked to see one because they don't show any, you know, depictions of nudity on the cartoon on TV. But Peter had gotten a cutout of was Kathy Ireland. He was carrying the thing around. They took it out to dinner, set her on the chair, and he was playing with himself underneath the table. And he gets out from under the table because Lois shows up, and all his genitals are hanging out right there. I'm wondering, you know, I haven't seen one with Lois's vagina, but I'm just saying, you know, that's a little upsetting. I mean, if they're not going to show Lois's vagina, what's the dealio, Seth, or whoever's putting their stamp of approval on this thing, reviewing it? I mean, you know, hey, I know it's just a cartoon. I know it's just animation, a depiction. Nevertheless, you see, I'm tired of this crap, you know, guys being belittled the size of their member, and I'm thinking, you know, that's a two-way street. We all know that, right? I mean, so don't, you know, I stand up for my gender, even though I'm a dad of two daughters that came out perfect. I wouldn't change anything about my daughters. They blow my mind all the time. Okay, but they're God's daughters. I did very little. I was just grateful the time I got to spend raising them. And, you know, I could get very emotional when I think about my daughters and how much I love them. And they love me too, I know. But, you know, I say, hey, honey, all the love I have for you, and you know it's genuine. It's just a hint of the love that your true father has for you. And you should tell your kids the same thing, because I really believe that. But kids are great, but, you know, you do very little to make them. But I just want equality. I don't want, you know, belittle men. I'm not into that. Ladies, you're into that. You want to, you know, belittle men. I mean, you know, I know very few men that want to belittle women. I know there's some sickos out there. But for the most part, we're like in a worship pose, awe of the female. And that's more the proper perspective, is that exalt the woman. She is God's greatest creation. Without her, our species would become extinct in short order, one generation. That is the nature of the Creator God Almighty. Male and female, we created them. I really, to this day, I do not believe a man can be fully in his right mind. I was never as happy as when I was married. He's got to have a woman, or else he just can't. I mean, as much as you can say that scares ladies that he's codependent. Well, I hate ladies. It's like electricity, okay? It's impotent. You could have the most dominant, powerful source of electricity, but if it doesn't have a grounding, that's what a woman, I believe, is to a man, then it's feckless, utterly feckless. And that's how I don't feel whole. And if you're not whole, you know, it's like a complete circuit. And magnetism is the same way. I mean, it can be good that stress, stressors can be good, that dynamic between the male and female, the opposite sex. That's precious. That's beautiful. It's very attractive and alluring, magnetic. It's virtually irresistible to the man, as we all know. The male of the species sometimes kills each other over mating rights with the female. We all know that's the nature of the beast. So as far as guys being jealous, ladies, that's a given. Of course, we're very all of us. Yeah, don't that's my girl. I mean, you look, you can ogle her and you can eat your heart out, but that's my girl. And the only one that's doing her is me. You've got that. I'm married to that woman. She's mine. And you want to say, oh, he sounds possessive and controlling. And ladies, that's the reality. I mean, that's just the male of the species. Okay, we want to know that we can keep you, not just in this life, but forevermore. We want you by our side. You make us feel complete. You make us feel whole. That's it. You complete us. And without you, life would be a drag. I couldn't imagine a world without females. I mean, you should have the highest self-esteem, but no ego. But it's hard. I mean, I know a lot of women, they get the ego and the power can go to their head because they are super powerful. They can absolutely make man's life as sweet as possible, sweet as can be. Because we are like God in that sense. We want to be together, male and female. And they can also bring them down hard, very hard, harder than you can imagine. If you haven't had it happen to you, it's like unfortunately, it's a private club. And only those that have felt that kind of pain, okay, understand it fully. And it'll be a gush of emotions the day we pass, I think, from this realm into God's hands. We commit the truth about how we feel about loving another human being with every fiber of our being. We had given ourselves to that person, and that person didn't care. They did at one point, but later they didn't. They changed their mind. And it's like being severed in half by a jagged saw. That's it. That's the way it feels. Really bad. So, ladies, I guess the message is please don't abuse your power because it is great. You are very powerful creatures. The most powerful. You have power over men, a lot of power. And, guys, don't mess with other guys' wives, especially if they're going through a difficult time. Separation. The same goes for women. And respect that relationship. Personally, I don't want to mess with another guy's girlfriend. She's got to be unattached when I meet her. So you'll leave it at that. All right, I'm going to finish up with a couple of talking points here. Hey, did anybody see that poll? At one day, all the media sources were showing that Trump would win in a landslide against Biden. And then virtually the next day, all the news stations were saying it's neck and neck. I mean, I'm just, whoa. I don't know, what's the truth? Only the mainstream media that's privately run knows. Friends, we could create any reality we want. Our minds are very powerful. Our power of imagination. There's overwhelming empirical evidence for it. All the infrastructure, all the technology, everything we have. And you think about it. You delve into this industrial age, the machinery, blow your mind. What we've got, what we can do now. Really, I mean, you think about these cranes and these gigantic skyscrapers. Wow, these bridges. I mean, we could build artificial islands. We can have any reality we want. It starts with imagining it, knowing what we want. We want to be free. We want to live in a world without any form of money. We want a level playing field. When we serve one another, it's good because of our instinct to do so, to use our God-given talents, to feel useful and appreciated. Okay, that's it. All the jobs are going to get done, and we're going to live as equal children, equally beloved by our owner, the Creator God Almighty. Universal prosperity, universal absolute security, universal absolute freedom. Not for some. Remember, that's universal. That's for everybody. a level playing field from birth. God's will is going to be established on earth, and death itself is going to be swallowed up in victory as you get a new imperishable body. Can you imagine? You can imagine. You can. You could both imagine a world without any form of money, okay? And you can imagine a body that can't be harmed. Even gravity is no longer lethal when you are God Almighty and you control gravity itself. Think about it. It's no longer lethal. Got to go.